Greetings and welcome to another video. There's a pattern in Second Life that I'm honestly sick of seeing. A brand, a creator, a designer does something that's clearly uneven, sometimes outright unfair, and suddenly people show up like a herd of white-knighting vultures, defending it like their social rent depends on it. And they always use the same words: fair, generous. I'm going to break it down for you about how unfair practices get magically rebranded as generosity and why people defend them so aggressively. All right, here's the pattern. A brand releases something, a free version that's already in the inventory, like the Avatar Welcome Pack, a gift that only works for people already in a database, a group exclusive locked behind a high join fee, or a special release that's really just a stripped down light version, or a gift that was always available to everyone, but then that time it wasn't because you had to be in the database. And the moment someone points out the imbalance, here comes the defenders, the brand worshippers, fighting to keep up with their social rent. It's free. Stop complaining. They didn't have to give anything. You should be grateful. And the one that highly annoys me: stop being entitled. It, it annoys me because it's factually wrong. Meanwhile, the actual issue, the uneven access, gets completely ignored. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest examples: a free version that's already in the inventory, like we all know it, the Avatar Welcome Pack. That actually isn't generosity. That's called a contracted deliverable. Linden Lab hires popular creators to produce content for the AWP because Linden Lab itself cannot create that level of avatar content in house. And you know exactly who those popular creators are. Think about it. Being featured in a Linden Lab promotion or contracted out by Linden Lab benefits those creators the most. Visibility, traffic, brand prestige. That's not generosity toward you as a user. That's a business arrangement for Linden Lab and a marketing advantage for those creators. Calling that generous is just marketing dressed up as kindness. Now, hold on, someone's going to say, well, if it's a business, then of course it's not going to be fair. And here's my response to that: bad business practices rely on uneven access. Good business practices rely on good faith. A good business practice is when a brand makes something available to everyone equally because they trust that if people enjoy what they received, they'll talk about it, they'll share it, and that positive experience becomes organic marketing. That's how you build goodwill. That's how you build trust. That's how you build a loyal customer base. When a brand limits access, manipulates availability, or hides a gift behind a database or a chance at getting it, that's not smart business. That's short term gain at the cost of long term trust. And calling that fair or generous doesn't make it either of those things. It just excuses a bad business practice. And yes, the AWP, the Avatar Welcome Pack, is in everyone's inventory. And in a sense, that is fair because everyone can get it, everyone has access to it. However, it is also a monopoly reinforcing mechanism. Because when a new user logs in and the first thing they see is a Lelutka head and a legacy body, their brain goes, oh, this must be the best. Oh, well, this must be the standard. Well, This must be what I'm supposed to buy. If everyone has this, then everyone must be wearing it. That is not generosity. That's brand priming, priming you for that particular brand. And it shuts out every other head and body creator in Second Life. So, yes, it's fair in access, the AWP, but it's not fair in market impact. And just to be clear, it's not malicious, it's just how curated ecosystems work. It's also not generosity, it's just ecosystem control. Then we have the groups with the high join fees offering exclusive gifts. Sometimes the gift is nowhere near the standard of what the creator usually makes. A templated item that looks like it came from a marketplace freebie box. And if someone says, hey, this doesn't match the quality of their usual work, the defenders of brands lose their minds. They didn't have to give anything. And honestly, in that particular case, they should not have given anything. If you're charging a high join fee, the gift should reflect the standard of your brand, not a pair of templated sunglasses. The reality of the issue is this: people aren't defending the brand, they're actually defending their own ego. If they benefited from the system, admitting it was unfair means admitting they were on the privileged side of an uneven situation. And instead of sitting with that, they rewrite the story. It wasn't unfair, it was generosity. No, it was uneven. And calling it generous doesn't magically make it fair. Now, here is where it all gets messy in a social environment. The people who defend unfair practices are often the same people who canonize fairness in every other part of Second Life. But the moment someone points out an actual unfair practice by a creator, they go unhinged at the audacity that someone would have a moral standard. The brand worshiped in Second Life is its own lack of moral standard. Popular creators do not care about the moral scale of the user base. And we know this because many of us have been directly affected by their unfair practices. You can appreciate free things, especially well made, non templated free things, and still acknowledge when something wasn't fair. Both of these can exist at the same time. You can have two truths exist at the same time. But if the free thing was only accessible to people in a database or through some manipulated access method, then it was directly unfair. Saying that doesn't make you ungrateful nor entitled. It makes you honest. And the brand worshippers do not want honesty because it threatens their ego. Fairness isn't about the price tag. It's about whether everyone had the same opportunity. And calling out unfairness doesn't make you dramatic. What does it make you? Someone who actually cares about fairness. Generosity doesn't require gatekeeping, and fairness doesn't require defending bad practices. So, the next time a brand worshiper gives you a hard time for expressing your opinion about how something was made available, remember this: when you stand by your convictions instead of kneeling to the hype and trends of brand worshippers in Second Life, that's when you become an individual with your own mind, on your own 2 feet. And from that perspective, you get a much clearer picture of the reality of a Second Life. That's going to be it from me. Feel free to comment below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.